It's on record.
Okay, you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Alright. Hang on, I'm going to try and turn some more light on where I'm at. This is the dark, it's getting tired. Hang on one second. Okay. Alright, so same thing like the other day. Just make sure you answer complete sentences. If you forget, I'll remind you. And just have fun. This is your time to just be as candid and open as possible, okay?
That'll work.
Okay. Here we go. Alright, so start off by giving me your name, your age, your occupation, the name of your shop, and where you live in the city and state.
Name and age, name of the shop, city and state.
Mm-hmm.
That'll work. I'm Tim Harris, I'm 47 years old. And my shop is Harris Custom Cycle in beautiful Wilkes County, Georgia.
Awesome. And tell me, when did you first get involved with biking, and what was your first bike?
Actually, the first bike was the first bike I built. It started a big bike. Rode dirt bikes when I was a chap, racing and everything until I was 16, 17 years old. So the first big bike I built myself. I kept waiting out the hell I want a bike, I want a bike. No one could see anything I want. I said, I'm just going to pretty much build my own. See it on, like I said, I seen it on TV. I figured, what the hell, I can build my own. Built it. Had it complete. It was probably about 03, 04.
And tell me, how did you know how to build or tinker with these bikes? What's your background in terms of, like, engineering or mechanical stuff?
Well, it's going to sound kind of dumb. Most of it is show me once, and I'll catch on. Well, if I see it one time, usually I'll catch on. Any type of mechanical repairs or how something works, to me, in anything mechanical, something motivates something. So no matter what, you got to start from one thing, and then you end up with the end thing that's actually motivating one thing to the other. And every mechanical aspect, anything that works mechanically works the same to me, because something has to motivate something, otherwise you're not going to travel. Motorcycles work the same way as they do cars, or anything else that they'll fool with. The only thing different is, as far as when you're building something compared to fooling with something or actually working on something and understand the works of what you're working with. Once you get to a point of actually building, it is a little bit different, but you still have the same aspect of everything's got to line up, everything's got to run together, and it's got to function together. And that's just the way I've been since I was probably 10, 11 years old.
Awesome. And tell me, what inspired you to open your bike shop, and how did you go about it? You kind of said a little bit in your bio, you watched some things.
Yeah, I did. I watched that, and I said, hey, well, I can do something like that. I mean, really.
Wait, I'm sorry, just go back and say what you were watching.
Well, actually, I've been watching American Choppers when it came on. I more and more looked at it. That's why I decided I'd rather just have a custom bike instead of just buying something off the floor. I just build my own. To me, it didn't look that difficult. I figured, hell, if I can do it, I can do it. And pretty much that's the way I started off from there. We just went ahead and I built my bike, rode it, we showed it, won numerous trophies with it all over the Southeast. Daytona, Myrtle Beach, and a lot of bike shows. We always place highly, or we got plenty of first places. Kind of worked from there, and next thing, then you got the fever. So I decided I'd build a second bike. And then I went ahead and built the second bike, which is the Red Rocker. It was based after an actual rock star in the 70s drag race kind of pretty much in the early 70s, the way race bikes were. They didn't have much technology in Ford. A lot of bolt-on horsepower parts, so you cut them down. The same thing as chopping a bike, but you cut stuff off, make things like take a lot of pieces off to make it fast. And it just kind of gave me the idea to build a drag racing barber style bike. Of course, we did the same thing, won numerous awards for first class, best of show. It was in both of them have been an Easy Rider. I have several bikes that have been in Easy Rider magazine. And after that, you just have people come in, they see what you're doing, and they want something, and they just, the advertisement kind of spoke for itself. And I had people coming in, want me, hey Bill, I want you to build me this, I want you to build me this, I want you to build me that. And pretty much kind of built bikes. After that was pretty much, per person, what their needs were and what they were looking for and the kind of style they was going for.
Awesome. And tell me about the creative ways that you're kind of able to make things happen with limited resources and money. Like, just tell me how you guys kind of make shit happen.
If you was in my shop, you'd understand. I have a junk shelf. It is a scrap metal shelf. We have scrap metal, scrap pieces. When I come to look at something, sometimes I'll look at a part. I might not actually use that, but I'll say that kind of flows with what we're looking for. I've used a lot of different things out of the shop that just, without going out and outsourcing it, and just either made it from there or used scrap items that we had there in the shop to make certain pieces. As far as the creative part, it's kind of difficult to explain because you have the vision. It's in your head. You actually have most of it finished in your head. You have an idea of the flow of the bike and which way you're going to go with it. And there's a lot of things, details they're sunk in your mind. Sometimes you go to that detail and you put it on the bike. It doesn't look like it did in your mind. You take that piece, throw it away. That was actually, for an instance, I was building a front end on a bike. First time I ever built a whole front end. I hand built the whole front end, or the Springer front end, and it took longer than any part of the whole bike to build because I was never satisfied. I'd start with something, start on it, and I would come to the conclusion it didn't look right. I'm talking a 3/4 finished front end, take it off, set it aside, start on something totally different until I got the actual, what I was satisfied with, what flow with the bike, what looks good with the bike.
Do you think you're a perfectionist when it comes to your work?
Yeah, pretty much, because I want that certain look or certain thing that I'm looking for, and if I don't find it, just like before, I will scrap it. I'll take it off, cut it off the bike, start all over again. I'm not going to put. If I'm not comfortable with it, and it doesn't actually fit or flow with what I'm trying to achieve, I'll just cut it off, start all over, chunk it. And I have plenty of scrap parts in the back. I pull them out at times and decide, well, it may look good on this project I'm working on. But I never throw anything away. I'm a hoarder when it comes to scrap metal.
Alright, so one more time, just go back and say for me, you don't have to go into any other detail. You can just say, I'm a perfectionist when it comes to my work. I want to really make sure I make my vision come to life.
Yes. What it comes down to is I'm a perfectionist. Everything I do, I want to be sure that what I do and how I do it brings it to life as far as I can see it. Just to get it. Okay.
Sounds good. Tell me about your home life. Tell me about being married to Kelly and your kids and your grandkids. Just give me a small overview.
It's horrible. First I want a gun. I want to pull the trigger. And I think. If I leave, they're just going to get my life insurance. It's not going to make it any better for me. So then I back down, decide to get through. But it's pretty cool. We've got a pretty tight-knit family. There's like I said, we have two families that we've kind of put together.
Hang on. So before you go into that explanation, just start off by saying, so my wife Kelly and I have been married for X amount
13 years. Everybody in our family was just kind of blended. We don't like the thoughts of, that's my stepchild, my stepdaughter. It just, something about it just does not sound right. And as we come along, most of our kids look at us as, you're my mama, you're my dad. And they kind of flow with the same thing that we flow. Because I cannot stand the stepdad, stepmother. We look at them as our children. I go by age, how they come down the barrel, just like the oldest son I was talking about, which really ain't my son, but I claim him as my son. My oldest daughter, I claim her. That's Kelly's. She has the 3 oldest, and I have the 2 youngest. So we pretty much claim them as, part of the family. They get along good. Everybody doesn't. There's no real quarrels like somebody doesn't get along. It's just like any other brother and sister, mother, father situation.
Got it. And tell me about how you met Jeffro and Roger. Explain how you're related to Jeffro, and then explain how you found Roger and you guys accomplished stuff as a trio.
Well, Jeffro he's been a long time customer. He was one of my customers when I was strictly in the car business before I got into the motorcycle industry. Worked on everything he ever had. He was one of these type people. I hope the language isn't, but I'm just going to tell you exactly what he said. I'm firm on calling with estimates of what I'm doing before I make a repair, before I do anything, move forward on any project. Same way I will call the customer to be sure that this is what they want to do. He's always, since the first time, do not motherfucking call me. That's why I brought this son of a bitch to you in the first place. Fix the damn thing. And it's just, every time after that, and then Kelly says, she'll bring it in another time, I say, call Jeff. She says, I'm not going to call him, he's just going to cuss me out. Because the first thing he says, I don't give a damn what he finds, fix the damn thing. And that's what the way he's always been since the first day he become a customer. And today, I will still call him. He'll still cuss me out. But I'm still going to call him and let him know what we're going to do before I do it. But he puts my trust in his work, in his vehicles, and his motorcycle, just like it was his or better than his, because he says he don't know a damn thing about how they work. He just wants to be able to ride.
Awesome. And tell me about Roger and how you got linked up with Roger.
Roger, I've known him probably 10 years. That wasn't funny, was it?
What's going on over there?
Somebody's throwing firecrackers at me.
Oh, boy.
Anyway, I've known Roger for probably over 10 years. We've ridden together probably the last 6 years or so. Basically, I had an employee that was leaving my shop, and I needed some help. He ended up coming in and says, I'm coming to interview for the job. I said, you're interviewing for the job. I already know who you are. He says, yeah, well, I know. I'm coming to interview for the job. So pretty much went through the spiel, told him how things work. This is the way it's going to work. This is how it's going to go. This is what I expect. Can you deal with the rules? He said, yeah, and he's been with us for the last 2 years. Before that, I could only keep somebody about 6 to 8 months. They could not work with me.
Wow. And why do you think it was so difficult finding somebody that was a good match for you?
The same thing, the perfectionist. I just can't, if it ain't right, I don't want anything leaving my shop with any thoughts of something is not correct. And people that work under me the biggest thing is they can't stand somebody looking over them. Some people have a problem with it, but I'm going to look over everything that goes on in my shop. Roger has no problem with it. He flows, doesn't complain. I can tell him anything that he's screwing up, fucking up, he's not doing this right. He doesn't complain. He goes on, that's right, you're right, let's do this, and he'll never complain, not one time.
Tell me about the customers that come through your shop. Describe them. Do they try and get discounts? Have you ever had disagreements with them about certain stuff? Like, what is it like overall?
We've had disagreements. I've had one fella, This doesn't happen very often in my shop, but this guy pushed me to the limit. I mean, I was so pissed off. He was talking to me on the phone. He kept talking about something that I had nothing to do, and I kept telling him, if you bring it back to something we've done wrong, I will fix it. He was outraged. He was going to carry it somewhere, send us a bill, sue us, blah, 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 blah. I took the phone and virtually just beat it on the wall, and I kept saying, are you still there? And he said he's still there, and I said, ain't no way. If anybody done that to me, I would hang up. No, he just hung on the phone. I did it like 3 times. He just stayed there. I said, well, I'll tell you what. You go ahead, get what you want to get done. You bring me the bill, and you come to my shop, and we'll see what happens with it. Pretty pissed off. He didn't show up.
I bet it. And do you have any customers that are regulars that come in there and like to hang out, aside from Jeffro, who's there most of the time?
We have a pretty good clientele. We have a lot of the same customers in and out of the shop. Most of them, Kelly says I get a little too frank with them about what, but that's the reason they come in the first place. We joke at each other, pick at each other. I mean, it's really most of them they don't really care. They just love to come in there and end up getting a laugh while they leave. And it's been a pretty, we have a pretty tight clientele. They don't really argue with anything that I want to do or I feel like I want to do. They have plenty of customers coming, well, I want this, but I know you're going to do that. So I'll just say it when you get through it.
And tell me a little bit about the pranks that you play on the guys and on Kelly, like in your shop, or, in the man cave.
I keep a lot of firecrackers on hand. That's exactly what they were trying to do to me. Usually they never catch me off guard. I can catch them off guard. I caught Roger with his head up under a car, and you can imagine he's tense with something, he's studying, and all of a sudden I'll throw a firecracker over there and scare the damn living daylights out of him. Or shoot rubber bands, taking rubber bands and making them like slingshots and shoot cigarette butts at him. Just anything to aggravate him while he was working. Most times something will hit the hood or wherever he's at, or if he's working on a motorcycle, something will fly through and he'll sweep down him and drop something or something fell. And the whole time I took a rubber band and shot something over at him. A piece of it. Anything off the floor. A nut, bolt.
Do you think you're the biggest jokester of the group, or who do you think is the biggest jokester?
As far as just joking, more than likely me, because usually all mine are surprises. Now Jeffro, he likes doing like these things right here. But most of it. Between me and Jeffro, he plays pranks all the time. Mine are a little bit stronger, heavier, a little more attitude, as you would say.
Right. And tell me, how do you think the guys would describe you? Do you think they agree that you're a prankster, or what do you think they would say if you weren't sitting right there?
Prankster. Can't get my nerve up to do anything. Jeffro gives me hell because we asked him when I was telling him about us playing in front of people. The whole reason was I felt like we need to get buzzed. I'm not going to go out there and embarrass myself. I'm 47 years old. And man, if I was a chap, fine. I'm not going out there at this age and then look like a damn idiot. He says I got stage fright, which somewhat I do. The first place we played, I kept saying I'm going to throw up. And then he kept talking me into it, and it was like a baseball coach and a little kid at the bat. Jeffro, he said, cool, man, you can do it. He just talked me to it. I said, okay, I can do it. So I'm not going to promise you. I might throw up on the stage. He said, but that might make the show. I mean, you never can tell. I said, I don't know if they appreciate that or not, but I said, I'll try it, which we got through it. Never threw up on stage. Played right through the set.
Awesome. And tell me about the band and how that all started. I know it was kind of like a joke, but tell me about how you guys have gotten a little more period, like what you do, what you practice, all of that.
It started out as a joke. We was actually,
Sorry, just go back and say this. So the band started out as a joke.
so the band started out as a joke. We picked it up off a movie called Sling Blade. And we part in the movie, and these are really redneck folks, and they sounded awful. He says, "Oh, we gotta get the band together. We gotta get the band together." So they call them all out. They're playing on the back porch. They sound like crap. I mean, it's just awful, awful. But it's so funny, and the neighbors are yelling. It reminded us. There was neighbors are yelling, "Shut that down, shut down." Anyway, that's what me and Roger come up with crazy stuff like this to get through the day. So we really didn't have a band. We just started saying, yeah, we'll have a band like that. And we'd say, we'll come out on stage in diapers and do something crazy. You remember the foam hats, those, maybe the Cowboys, what is that, football team. God, Texas A&M. You know that you see them up in the, you see everybody sitting in stands with these foam cowboy hats. They look real long. I said, we take those, get us some diapers, and we come up with stupid things like that, or we'll come out with masks on, or we'll come out dressed up as this and dressed. And it was all a bunch of bull crap. We ain't doing none of that. We just joking around, passing the day along. We've done this probably for 2 months. I mean, we had the band all talked up, never played together. Couldn't even hardly even play. So then all of a sudden, Jeffro came in there, and Roger said, "Hey man," we were just joking about it. "You know any drums?" He says, "Oh, I'd really come over one." So, and I said, "I tell you what, let's just do this. But we're gonna have a jam out. We're gonna have a jam out." This band thing worked. So we decided that we took a room, one of the extra bedrooms over in the house, had a little bitty set of drums, had like 3 drums and about 2 cymbals, and started playing. Sounded like crap because we're not trying to play anything. And it progressed from there because finally there was a few, I had a bunch of riffs that I made up since the 80s because I always played by myself, away from people, more of as a relaxation kind of deal, just something to relax, 30, 40 minutes relax. And I made a bunch of riffs, not cover songs, this is all riffs, just riffs I made up. And we started doing that, and as time went on, we turned all these riffs, well not all of them yet, but we've turned some of them into actually, I would say musical art. That actually I think sounds pretty good. We even had somebody come over to give us an idea, a guy that actually does recording for bands, and he also works for Turf War and plays with them and does their recording. And he was kind of surprised. He said, "I'd love to come over with my equipment and record you." I said, "You really think we sang?" He said, "Yeah, y'all are good to go." He said, "Y'all are ready to go on stage." So it kind of just pretty much progressed from there.
Awesome. And tell me about how the Man Cave came about, and was Kelly initially on board with having that?
Not really, because I took her garage away. You couldn't park a car in here.
Wait, just to go back and say. So just go back and say, as far as the Man Cave is concerned, it's our place now, but initially Kelly wasn't really too happy about losing the parking space.
And this when the Man Cave came along, I came in here, we started putting all the instruments in. I pretty much took over, hung shit on the wall. We had it so packed in here with stuff, there wasn't nothing to fit in here but a couple of bikes of mine. Took Kelly's parking space away. She wasn't too happy about it. It was wintertime, she's got a scraper windshield, and this has been going on probably 8 to 10 months. Maybe more than that as far as taking over the garage. No, she hasn't been happy at all. But if you knew the drum setup that Jeffro has in here, it ain't like we can just move them around because they're just huge. And they take up the whole back of the garage.
And tell me about what it's like when you guys aren't, in the Man Cave, or you're not at the shop. Like, when you go out or you go riding, like, how often do you ride? Where do you ride? That sort of thing.
Of course, it depends on what's going on and weather permitting. pretty much ride, at least a couple of times a month. We ride not necessarily always together or with other people, and everybody rides a little more than another. Jethro fortunately rides more than we do because he has all day to ride. Me and Roger, we have to work. So he's got a lot more miles on his. He puts a lot more miles on his bike than what we would because of the extra time on his hands. So we do some riding. As far as a lot of it, we do a lot of charity rides, especially with the community and neighboring counties. We do a good bit of charity rides and do charity and help actually do the fundraising, for different events. Not necessarily for advertising, it's just something we've been doing. We've been doing it since probably about '06. Right to a point you feel obligated because the same people ask you help every time. And our names are always brought up every time something comes up as far as doing fundraisers.
Right. Speaking of your names being brought up, because your town is the size that it is, I imagine that a lot of people know you guys. So what is it like when you go out and people see you guys? Are they like, oh boy, they're up to their antics? Or like, what's the overall reaction from the
pretty
town?
much. Even every little thing we've ever done. There's a lot of things I've done besides before the filming thing, started on. But there's some gross things that have probably happened way back. For instance, this probably has nothing to do with none of it, but it is a funny story. Years ago, the kids had nowhere to go in town. It got to the point during Halloween that they couldn't get away with anything. During Halloween, everybody went pumpkin stealing. That's just part of it. It's usually after the kids trick-or-treated. They're going to dispose of the pumpkins anyway. Take the pumpkins, they throw them and splatter them all over the road, have egg fights. A lot of things I remember when I was a chap that we used to do all that and never got in trouble. And as time has progressed, of course, they've cut that out because of some of the kids may have gotten a little more aggressive and tearing up stuff, things like that. So we decided to do something for them by having an area where we actually guarded a pumpkin and dared them to come get it. One of the times that we did it an old dirt track that I had. And we had this, the piece of equipment they used to whip the track with was a water tank. We took that water tank. We filled it half water, and there was a cow field right beside. So we went down a bucket and picked up gooey cow patties. Put it in the tank. We were stirring it up. It was like a witch's brew. And we're just stirring it up. We're making it real runny where we'll go. Because it was actually, we watered it with a big hose with a big pump like off a fire truck. I mean, it was sprayed that hard like off a fire truck. So we had all that stuff ready, and they came up there, we had the pumpkin hanging, and they couldn't even get near it. We fired that pump up, and we was just throwing cow shit all across. We did that a couple of years, and they went away. The kids quit coming. It was a pretty funny story, but everybody remembers that. Everybody in town remembers that when we were doing that. Of course, when the last film crew, came here when they were doing some shooting, even though they tried to tell us keep it on no low, but we're in a small town, it leaks out rapidly. I mean, everywhere you go, they're asking about it. How's that going? It's like, eventually you like a tape recorder where you can hold a tape recorder up and just play it. That way you ain't got to say anything.
So they know you in town. Just tell me, they know us in town as the guys that need their own TV show.
Yes, ma'am. Pretty much.
So go back and say that in your own words.
We're the guys in town that everybody thinks we need a television show.
Awesome. Do you guys ever fuss at each other or bump heads? I imagine if you spend all day with somebody or you spend free time with them, at some point somebody's going to have an issue. Who's like the peacemaker out of the two?
Peacemaker? It would probably be me. I like to have fun, and when it starts becoming no fun no more, I'm ready to get out. I don't want to have anything to do with it. If it ain't fun, I don't want to do it. Me and Jeff, we get in a few arguments. He gets uptight. He gets so wound up, he's about to damn explode. He was flipping out this afternoon when we was trying to get the stuff together. He's like, what are we going to do? We'll need to hurry up and do that. I said, calm down. She's a person just like us. Lance the dirty, she'll be fine. Well, a couple minutes late, it'll be fine. We was having camera trouble. And he was like, we got to do something. I said, we'll come up with something. I said, we'll get, just calm down. We'll get through it. But both of us kind of get that way. Sometimes I get excited, sometimes I get excited, and we'll get each other calmed down. But as far as trying to keep level with things, I'll try to kind of, because I can't stand conflict. I'll try to fix conflict the best I can.
Got it. Tell me about who gets the most drunk when you guys go out. Who drinks the most?
Well, that would be me.
So just go back and say, when we go out, you can bet that it's going to be me that'll be the most drunk.
Yeah, well, I probably would. I won't cause a lot of trouble. But, yeah, I'm having more fun than everybody else. You can call that drunk if you want to, but I'm having more fun than everybody else.
Got it. Okay, I'm just going to have you repeat. I'm going to say a couple of statements. I want you to repeat the statement and then fill in the blank.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So when the three of us get together, hang on, sorry. I've got my thing in backwards. Hold on. Here we go. When the three of us get together, it's like a blank.
That's exactly right. It's like a blank.
You gotta put fun there. So say when the three of us get together, it's like a party, a tornado comes through, a frat house. Like those are some examples.
When us three get together, there's time. When us three get together, it's just pure out ruckus.
Perfect. I've seen everything from blank to blank.
You want me to say something else?
Yeah. So say, I've seen everything from blank to blank. You gotta fill in those blanks though.
Oh boy. See everything from mayhem to murder.
Okay. When we're out back messing with our tools, you can expect blank.
If we're outside messing with our toes, I'm probably going to get pissed off and swimming.
Okay. Being our friend means blank.
Being my friend?
Being our friend, so the three of you guys. Being our friend means blank. I'll give you some examples.
Okay,
It means,
I got it.
Okay, go ahead.
Being our friend, keep it.
Okay. After spending a day at the shop, I need blank.
I need blank.
Yeah, after spending a day at the shop, I need blank.
Spend a day at the shop, I need a drink.
Okay. The song that best describes us is blank.
Best song that describes us as TNT. I'm dynamite.
Okay. No other bike shop compares to us because blank.
No other shop compares to us because nobody's that retarded like we are.
Okay, cool. So one more time, introduce yourself. Give me your name, your age, your occupation, the name of the shop, where you're located, and just tell me, like we run the South, or a little tagline to go along with it.
I'm Tim Harris. I run Harris Custom Cycles with a badass something down the home.
Do it one more time. You're on something. You're on something. I felt it.
I'm Tim Harris. I own Harris Custom Cycles. We build dreams. We make dreams come true.
One more time. Give me something a little less Disney.
A little bit Disney. Not Disney. Almost
Not
Disney.
Disney.
Okay. Custom Cycles. No, let's start on that. Alright, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Go ahead.
I'm Tim Harris. I own Harris Custom Cycles. You dream it, we can build it.
Okay, great. Hang on one second. I'm going to stop this recording. All right, I'm ready for Robert.
That's it.
Mm-hmm. You did good. Thank you.
Okay, she said I'll start. Here, count.
It's got 2 minutes and 57 seconds. Put another card in it.
You got one?
Yeah.
I think so.
Alright, we can hit